Well, hello there, my dearest sinners. I'm a little far away from you, aren't I? So why don't I get a bit closer? A moment. Let me ordain to move myself nice and close to you. How's that? I think that's close enough. Let's make sure my chat box is... Yes, over the top. Good. I was worried it was behind for a second. That's fine. There we go. Right, just so it isn't selected stuff for me. Anyway, welcome one and all, dearest sinners. I'm back. And, of course, it is time for our sermon. And as always, in this twilight hour of the week, I must first give thanks not just to those who are present, but also to those who have joined us recently. Goddess JLP and Kasora Kurban, excuse me. Thank you very much to the both of you for choosing to follow me in this time. And of course, a thank you to the wonderful Robin, giving me a little shout out, which is ever so kind of you. I don't know what I've done to deserve such kindness, but know that I aim to repay the favour whenever I can. But with that praise and thanks all being said, let's talk about today's sermon. I decided to name it something dramatic and biblical because I'm dramatic like that. But also, I noticed a little thing. I just so happened to be doing a bit of research into my fellow angels. It's important. Not just from a, narrative standpoint, but I also, want to get a bit more angelic knowledge in my noggin. For you see, tragically, we're a very underrepresented group, angels are. We're very underrepresented. There are lots of demons around. For example, the demon that has caused my phone to trigger a notification midstream, which is very wonderful. So I'm going to quickly address that demon and exorcise it. By exorcising it, I mean shushing it. There we go. That has been exorcised. Now then, with that demon taken care of, so I was obviously doing a bit of research. I'm still looking at some lore for New Eden and trying to devise some more things, and I wanted to get a bit more angelic knowledge in my noggin for when I detailed the different types of angel that the Church of the Maker have produced. And there's actually a fair amount knocking around, but I had to a lot of it's sadly still just in the text, excuse me. There's not that much in the way of in media, right? There's the classic, the angels are bad guys, in a lot of anime, which, okay, that's fine, but can we get a bit more information about them? I need to try and talk slower as well. I realise I go way too quickly, and I imagine it's not pleasant to listen to, so I am going to try and slow down my speech. But, anyway, so I was looking, and there's actually not that much in literature, media. Well, I say literature. In holy texts, there's loads of stuff, like the Bible and that kind of stuff, and, other religious books, there's a lot about angels. But outside of stuff like the show Supernatural, if any of you have watched that, I like it. It's a bit campy at times, but I like it. That one has a few angels, Castiel being quite prominent. But I used a bit of that, a bit of the religious texts as well, because there's obviously a lot in there, and, you can derive various types of angel. I did discover a very interesting thing, that the cherubim, for example, at least the original versions look nothing like the little floating babies that you see, even in 40k. Like, those are actually more Renaissance era. I know I'm getting historical here, but I found it interesting how their original incarnation was far more different, right? Like, more wings and actually quite high up on the totem pole of power, interestingly. So, a little thing I was thinking of with that was I actually thought, what if So an idea I had for angels, as I mentioned in my last video, was the ancients. So the ancients, they get a few ideas from them. So they all look like biblically accurate angels. That's the idea with them. But they can be any angel that's above a common angel, with the exception of an archangel. They can't be an archangel. Essentially, I like to think of an ancient in the same way Warhammer thinks of a dreadnought. That's how I think about them anyway. I like the idea of these like ancient beings who have kind of lost a lot of themselves, which is the idea of them. So I need to sort of figure out what names I want to use for stuff. For example, I mention Valkyries, Seraphim, and Aeons, I believe, in my video, as sort of the upper echelon of lower angels. It's essentially split into anything that's not an ancient or an archangel, then those two respectives. Archangels kind of sit in their own thing. I will detail them. I have some cool ideas for them. But ancients, they're like... Imagine if someone was to build a biblically accurate angel, right? Like, imagine that. Like, you have this essentially really powerful, like, flying vessel that's just covered in weaponry. And is really old, but they're really inefficient, right? But they also can just wield some obscenely big and powerful weapons. They're a show of force. Pure and simple. I like the idea of, like, for example, the throne, which is one, essentially it's like a set of wheels turning with eyes on them. I kind of like the idea of those just flying in with, like, the energy wings and the halo above them, just firing lasers from their eyes and stuff. That's, essentially the idea with, like, stuff like that. Obviously, ancients all look different depending on what they were, but they essentially would resemble a biblically accurate version. So, like, if my current character was an ancient, she'd look like a being with an eye in the center, with wings with loads of eyes upon them. And there'd be like 6 wings. So I'd like to think that my version would be like a central construct with an eye, and then like rows of eyes floating off it with the angel wings, like mine, with a massive halo over it. That'd be like if mine was like the ancient, essentially. That's the kind of idea I had. Hello, Nyatia. Welcome, welcome. Do you have a good time, my friend? How have you been? I feel like it's been a little bit. How have you been doing? Have you been... I'm trying to think, did I see you streaming today? You'll be streaming when I'm in work, tragically. I can't wave to you as often these days, but I do hope you had a good time. I am thankfully working from home a little bit more in the coming weeks, so I might spot you. If I do, I'll make sure to jump in and wave. But no. Also, as some of you may have seen, Robin has graced us with a new meme of the classic meme of Wolverine staring at a picture longingly, but Robin's just added my thighs. She's just added my thighs, so yeah, there you go. That's a taste of you all. There's a reason to join the Discord for you. Oh, I'm glad to see this chat box is working. It was not working too well last week. Oh, but where was I? I've distracted myself entirely. Also, ironically, you put the Bongo Cat emote in there. I might have commissioned some new emotes to come. One of them may or may not be a Bongo Cat one. Because I quite like the idea of it. So, that's a little something to come. Speaking of new emotes, we do have a new emote actually. For anyone who does sub. The first of many, it's a static one. Made by the same lovely person who did my alerts. I am through my camera stopped recording. Oh! That is a fucker. That's Jesus. Yeah, that is a bit of a fucker. Yeah, I must admit, I'm kind of glad I've moved over to the iPhone now, because God, the webcam just, it had its moments, right? Like, I had times where it just stopped, and I would never know why. I'd have to, like, restart my PC for it to work. It was so fucked. So, no, I totally understand, like, the camera stuff, man. It's not ideal, eh? It's not ideal. But, hey, it's the joys and scuff of being a Vtuber, eh? We all signed on to this shit for a bit of scuff, and by God, we will certainly endure some scuff. It's why I have the scuff tag on my streams. I know it's going to happen, so I figure I'll just pre-warn ahead of time. There will be scuff. For there must be scuff. It's one of the wonderful things of VTubing is we essentially choose to stream on hard mode. Yep, gonna ask around, but club. Okay. I guess it's worth just having a. I guess if the camera's got any updates, I don't know what kind of camera it is, so I can only give you very broad suggestions. But I know my webcam was like a quite cheap Logitech one, but I know we use different software, so I'm not sure what's best for your software. But I don't know whether there's a update for the camera that may assist it. Whether a different port. Razer Kilo. Okay, so Razer drivers might be an option. Another thing to consider is it plugged in directly to the PC, or is it plugged into like a extra port, like an extender or a keyboard? Like my keyboard has some extra ports, for example. I tend to find the ports at the very back of your PC are the best ones generally. But obviously, that's quite a hot contested spot, right? You've got your keyboard and mouse and other stuff vying for it, so... But if you've got spare slots on your actual back of the PC, those are the best ones, if you're not already using them. I guess a new thing as well, does the camera work generally still? It tends to be plugged into the PC. Okay, that's good. Yeah, I mean... I suppose a thing to test, check the camera's still working, just generally speaking. And then after that, like, if that's still working, which I'm guessing not from your response, but if that was still working, I'd say if you have a spare camera, maybe not a very good one, that you can test the software's working nicely with. Those are two. Just going in my tech supporty mode for a second there, that's two things I thought of pretty quickly I'd probably try. But no, hopefully that it either sorts itself or you manage to find a solution, my friend, because it's never the best thing. Doesn't seem to be turning up. Oh, okay. How long have you had the camera? Is it like quite a new one? It's weird it's not turning on. might sound daft. Try a different, like, USB port if you've got one spare. Just any USB port. Even if it's got something in, just swap it. It sounds daft, but it will tell you a lot, because then you'll know where the problem is. Especially if you, like, let's say you swap it with your mouse. So you swap over which ports they're plugged into. That should tell you if the camera's fucked or the port's fucked. Not great either way, but it might help a little. If both work for some reason, then hey, if it's fixed it the weird random way. You can tell how many of these kind of things I had in the past. Although, you know, it's one of the reasons I was quite quick to try and jump to iPhone where I could. I mean, it's recording audio inputs, but not visuals. Oh. Does it, like if you open up the camera app, for example, does that, like, show anything? That's something to, like, the base camera app. I always like to test with that, because it just uses the camera. It's like a built-in app in your PC on Windows. That I find a pretty good thing. Just to, like, it won't record, but it'll just, like, show it on your screen it's working. That's, again, something I like to do. Oh, that's a thought, actually. Well, actually, it's not working but currently, but I was going to say, something I found in the past as well is it tends to be, like, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh yeah, if you've got something else already running, sometimes, like, I find, like, my Streamlabs obviously has a setup for the camera. Also, hello, Matt. My friend, I do have a schedule. You can see on my schedule what I'm doing. You came here at a time. Go ahead, you ask your questions. Yeah, it's an open forum. It's an open sermon. You may ask whatever you like. Whether I do it or not is my discretion, of course. How many rounds do you go for one night of... I'm probably reading this badly here. How many rounds do you do per one night of sex? Am I reading that right? How many rounds do you guys do? Oh, how many rounds do you guys do per one night of sex? I assume that's what you mean. Okay. Okay, right. Well, as you should know, my friend, as a VTuber, I get no action. I get no games here. So, currently it is a good old zilch and nada. I don't think I leave. I think I have time to leave. Maiden, exactly. Tragic, I know. I instead resort to simply just be mildly flirtatious with some people. As is the way. It is the way, after all. But yes, no, maidenless is the status of most VTubers, you'll find. Except for the ones who aren't. Oh, I'm like... Yeah. Like, a little flirtatious. Mildly, like, you know, I'll be a little playful. With some people. For example, you know, if someone posts a delectable thigh pic, then of course, naturally, I must respond by, you know, requesting a nibble on their extra thick thigh. Of course, you know, should someone like Velkian post thigh pics, then of course, naturally, you know. Or if, you know, someone's looking absolutely divine on Twitter, then naturally, you know. That's why you'll be. Because, well, two reasons. One, grotesque social anxiety, to the point where You know, I don't really in person do a lot. Over the internet, it's very easy. Like, I would not do anything close to this in person, but through the power of doing it online, this is far easier. Yes, you might ask, beating it. Well, you see, it's one of them. I'm not very sociable off stream. However, it's gotten a lot easier to be just, you know, sociable to a point on stream. It's a funny one. Oh, let me get my head over that bloody notification. That's just there to remind you it's a thing. Because it's hidden unless you like hover over the screen. Go eat some planets. Well, some planet YouTuber. Well, there is some YouTube content. I'm actually trying to keep up the YouTube content recently. Funny you should mention that. My latest lore video, my Vtuber lore, is now out. It's mostly a writing exercise slash me world building because I obsessively world build, so I'm not expecting it to be like a hit thing, but it's what I enjoy making. And I do enjoy coming out with it. It's a nice bit of a thing I like to do. But yeah, I'm going to try and make a bit more of it this week, as I'm pretty confident we're not going to have any like D&D this week, which is tragic, but it is what it is. One of my players is moving, so we ain't going to do anything to let her back. So it's one of them. The retellings are on hold for now until further notice, but that just means I have more time to do the retellings. And I'm trying to improve the process. Doing a bit of mild research here and there. Give myself inspiration, because the thing I'm making is weird, so there's not many things that are similar, which is a good thing, but also when looking for inspiration or ideas, it's hard to look at what's already been done. So I've got to kind of mosey around and look at various things, for that. I'm probably explaining it very poorly, but the joys of creating a setting that is very weird and different to the norm is just one of them things. So I go from looking up mega churches, which I've been doing a little bit of research and some videos about them, which, God, they are just so annoying. Like, holy shit. I didn't realise, like, I figured, like, my setting of New Eden was a bit of a parody on, like, televangelism, but holy shit. The real thing is somehow worse. Like, there's me crafting, like, a city-state that's like a theocracy, and one's faith is, like, their worth. But then you have, these, like, televangelist types who just, make just some utter bullshit. How old am I? Absolutely ancient. The ripe old age of 24. The ripe old age of 24. Truly ancient. Truly, truly ancient. 24. Not 34. 24. I'm not in my 30s yet. I'm not at the point of being a hag just yet. Despite what some people will tell you. Despite what some people will tell you. I am not a hag yet. No, I'm a good way off. I just perhaps sound / feel old. Feels ancient sometimes. I'm joking, obviously. That's what people say. You sound like 35. See, this is what I mean. I sound old. But I also, like, I look older than I should. I don't know why, I've always looked older than I should. I suspect a combination of a bit of booze, stress, and working a shitty job will do that to you. Well, that is true. That is true. That is true. A bit of, refinement. If only. If only. It's fine. So naturally, with all those factors, I decided to become an angelic anime girl. Naturally. After being a wolf woman. After being a small bean. What do you mean I need to change? My friend, first of all, that's not happening. Second of all, these models are expensive. Spirit not queen with boot. I have my aesthetic, friend. Besides, there are... It's probably not the best idea to copy too closely to Games Workshop anyway. They're litigious as fuck. Though getting inspiration off them is not a terrible idea. It's not quite the vibe I want to go for. Like, I like the Tyranids, but they're not my favourite faction. Mostly, like, I like the mystique around the Tyranids, but there's hard, like... Well... You know, they might say they do. But... Well, if it's a Norn Queen specifically. But then you have to say it's a Norn Queen, so it's just an alien bug queen or whatever, so, you know. But... They tried to claim they owned shoulder pads once, and they owned the word Space Marine, which existed long before their company. I mean, honestly, if Games Workshop could get away with that, they would. They totally would do that. That is so Games Workshop. Down to a T. Like, they renamed a bunch of their fantasy races because they couldn't copyright them. Like, seriously. You've got Alelves, Uruks, Ogors, and it's like, well, what? These humans are still called human, I guess. I mean, it's the reason Space Marines get called Adeptus Astartes now. Man, at some point we will play some, like, Battlefield Gothic or, hell, you know, at some point we will do, like, I mean, I like to replay Dawn of War 2 every so often. But I did that recently, so won't be anytime soon. Though, saying that, they did recently do Dawn of War. They've done a new Dawn of War. Oh, sorry, not new Dawn of War, sorry. They've done a remaster of Dawn of War 1 and 2, I think. Have I ever ordered a prostitute? No. 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 You forget I exist in the sunny land known as England. And, not in that part of the country. I'm not in a stingy place where that kind of thing goes on. And it's not like Amsterdam where it's, like, quite clean and formal. Over here is a lot less pleasant. Like, there's always provider. I'm not sure what to ask what you mean by that. Not sure what to ask. But no. It's fine, one of these days I'm sure I'll, you know. I'm getting better at the whole social anxiety thing, so, you know, maybe one day I shall leave my humble abode and Go to a bar or something. It's certainly an old running joke. I think, like anywhere, there are variations, right? Besides, beauty has changed over the years. There are plenty of people in this country who are absolutely gorgeous. There are plenty of us who aren't so gorgeous. It varies. It depends where you go and what your tastes are, I suppose. So, depends where those particular sailors of the country came from, I guess. Found out one thing funny. Only one thing now. Drink more of my warm Vimto. I couldn't say. I've not had the pleasure of meeting one. I can't say I've had the pleasure of meeting one. So the divorce rate are the highest. Oh, I see. Well, divorce rate in certain countries is pretty high. I know American divorce rate is very bad, but then, from what I hear, American divorce court is also... Well, I mean, divorce court in general is nasty, but American divorce court is somehow worse. I will say, as someone who's had to deal with lawyers a bunch, like, outside in the day job, could marry Ukrainian. I mean, I've heard there are many lovely Ukrainians. Again, I've never had the pleasure, but there are many lovely ones. I have extra lands. I don't think this is the feudal age, my friend. This isn't the age where I will marry a mainland European aristocrat to inherit her family's land and, you know, extend my own feudal power. I'm afraid I am not my ancestors. The closest you'll get to that nowadays is playing Crusader Kings. Put my mug down. Lots of men died who get... Oh. Okay, now. Well, we won't go talking on the war. All I will say is with like any war, may it end swiftly and with little to no suffering, though unfortunately it's been going on that long, I would say that part's not possible, but hopefully it ends soon. As I would quite like to return to a world where I don't have to worry about the, you know, chance of nuclear Armageddon being way closer than you have any right to be. I may like the song. What rhymes? Rhymes with sport. There's a few things around with sport, I suppose, but... Shortle. So hello, Rouge. Welcome, buddy. Welcome back, my friend. Ugh. We're going off the deep end a smidge, as always. Then again, I can't go to the yapping stream. I think YouTube... Many things that rhyme with many things, but yeah, you know. Oh. Yes, how you doing, my friend? On sport YouTube ads. I mean, it's why I'm glad I have premium. Got some more cereal. Good, good, good. Yeah, no, I must admit, I can't watch ads. They annoy me so much. Come on, non-queen with boob. Yes, Moretta's hoping that I will somehow convert into a non-queen with big boob. And apparently I sound like a 35-year-old. That's what we've established so far. can't even blame you this time, Rouge. I can't even blame you this time. Someone accusing me of being a hag. You're 31, I see. I see. This isn't like a you're 41 kind of thing, is it? But you say you're 30 so you feel better. Yeah. It's okay, Rouge isn't far away from you. He's not far away. Bless you with love. You feel romantical today. You were just a prostitute earlier. Hey, well, you know. It's Valentine whenever you feel like it. Yeah, it's been called a single now. I mean, if you want to share a room with the Archdeacon of the Plague Lord, you know, Lord Nurgle's mortal champion on this earth, Asmongold, Lord of the Stench, and the well, not great takes. Sometimes he somehow has a relationship for like 5 minutes until he brings her home and then she vomits across his floor for the next like 20 years. Share a room with donkey with boobs. I feel like the bug girl agenda's strong with you, isn't it? Like, I'm going to guess, Murat, do you also watch Matara Khan? Or Juniper Actius, I'm curious, or someone like them? Just non-queen. Do you think you could quit show? No. No, I'm not watching it. Oh, Matara Khan is another VTuber, and Juniper Actius is also another VTuber. I only mentioned they were a thing because you mentioned bug girls a lot. Oh shit. Base. But to answer your question, Rouge, I feel disgusting if I haven't showered for like a day or two. What was... Ah. Okay. Fair enough. I'm not sure if that triggers to you. I suppose you can't be too careful. That's... yeah. Time to nids. Listen, well, at some point... I looked at how big the install was for Battlefield Gothic 2. It's like 43 gig. I didn't realize how big it was. But, now this week is Yappy and Frostpunk. But I might play some Battlefield Gothic. At some point. Has been a while. Has been quite a while. So, never say never. Or obviously Space Marine 2, which has got an update, finally. So, there's that. Playing the bug. The bug Australian painter. What's this, Steve Irwin if he was crossed with Bob Ross? I can't even imagine what that would sound like as a person. Just screams Stroof and then starts like painting a crocodile with little clouds around it. Oh, nice, nice. Hey, have you a nice little fighting arena? Have you been into the arena, Rouge? Have you and Numa crossed blades? Nid, welcome multi-game gene culture. Well, I mean, Gene Stealer cults exist. I actually really like them as a faction. I just love how, like, especially like the mixing of. Oh, they do have quite a diverse range of creatures. Yeah, I mean they're all genetically tyrannid, but what they originally were created based on can vary a lot. obviously, we don't know exactly what the Tyranids ate to gain genetic material to make some of their creatures. But they probably will, to be honest. I'll be completely honest. Like, they will, they'll eat the whole planet. Want to be technical, my friend? Tyranid invasion reduces an entire planet to a barren rock. So, that includes no atmosphere. Fuckers figured out how to condense that shit. Pretty much. Yeah, they literally, yeah. It's exactly. So, condense. I mean, they will. They will condense those nuts. You know? They eat the whole thing. Not a picky eater. Yep, the nuts. They will eat these nuts. They will eat your nuts. And there's nothing you can do to stop them consuming your nuts. Live. In front of your face. That's why, in Space Marine 2, you keep that flamer close and you spray those rippers. You don't let them get close. So this is the part where the Tyranids don't understand the concept of that. If I told you one of their creatures, you know the Lictor? Remember the Lictor? Those tentacles are for brain sucking. It shoves them in your head and sucks your brain out to learn things. And yet somehow they aren't the most horrifying thing in the setting. Yep. You've been tentacled by them. They want your juicy knowledge. But yeah, they somehow aren't the worst thing in the setting as far as horror. Well, the thing with the Tyranids, right? They're horrifying. Like, they're horrifying in a sense, and the Death Leaper especially is a lictor that is a master of terror tactics. But the thing is, the Tyranids, other than the overriding will of the hive mind, they're almost just animals. They just follow a direction of the hive. They won't. Like, a lictor's one of the only things that might drag out your suffering. But the thing is, there's a lot of things in the universe that will drag out your suffering so much longer. To be fair, lictors actually are independent from the hive mind. They're a vanguard creature. They don't actually have to be connected. So, them and gene stealers and some other things don't care about it. They beat my queen. You know. We appear to have some very delusional sinners today. It's okay. The church offers, I would say therapy, but we'll call it isolation chamber. Sensory deprivation chamber for a little bit. I'm having a moment. But yeah, no, so, if you want my opinion, if you want the things in the setting that are actually horrifying, my picks immediately would be the Dark Eldar, because they are horrifying, and they enjoy it. The Night Lords, they are horrifying, and they enjoy it. Like, those two factions alone, like, don't get me wrong, I love the Night Lords, I love the Dark Eldar, they're cool, but they're horrifying. Like, the Night Lords and Dark Eldar will literally wear your skin. Fresh from your body. Like, they are horrifying things. So, and especially in the Night Lord's case, like, God, there's literally nothing you can do to stop them if you're just a normal human. I was listening to a reading of a book, and like, there's this menial who's like, he's standing there defiantly, but this fucking Night Lord's he's like, face me, you cowards. Night Lord goes, okay, bet. Walks out from the shadows to this man, and he's like towering over him. This half-starved fucker, bless him, he holds out for a while, but when he gets dragged off and gets told, your defiance earned you a reward. You're going to work in the ship forever. Then he screamed. Oh, the Dark Eldar will... The thing is, with the Night Lords, they at least... You'll die, right? You will die. The Dark Eldar will keep you alive. Forever. As long as they can. The only thing other than the Dark Eldar, I would say that's somehow worse than them, in my opinion, demons. Because death doesn't mess with them at all. As long as you got a soul, they can keep tormenting you. Night Lords prefer to work in the shadows because most of them were either born on Nostromo, which is a world perpetually at night, or come from underground prison camps, or other just dark, decrepit places. Like, Terra, when the Emperor was conquering it, had, like, underground, prisons. Hello, Judas. Good of you to pipe me on your way in. Love you too. I see you've learned from Robin. Robin, if you're hearing this, you're a bad influence. Look what you've done to my boy. He's throwing pipes at me now. Oh. Gonna tickle my throat. How are you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Hope your week's been treating you nicely. Mine has been slightly painful here and there. It was my choice. I didn't know what to press when I came in. You just panicked and went, pipe. If in doubt, metal pipe. I suppose it's a reliable option. Can never go wrong. Never go wrong. So I'm just drinking my drink a bit. My week has been good. Good. A few days off in a row. I mean, that's what you like to see, right? That's the stuff. I wish I could do that myself. Oh. Oh my. The closest I've got to that at the moment is some working from home days, which isn't far off a day off in many respects. Depending on the day. So, but no, a few days off. No, I wouldn't mind some myself. I've only got 9 left till June. Not June, sorry. 9 left till January. So, I've got to be very conservative with mine. But no, it's so nice. Keep my days off anytime. Bruh, this guy. Rouge, I would offer you your days off, but you know the rules, Rouge. You're a student, my friend. Now you're back in learning, so no days off for you. There's no days off for you, Rouge. You've got to be worked. Got to work your brain. Got to work that noggin. As is your current path. This is why you don't eat. You need to feed. I mean, he does. You are completely correct. It was only the other day he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get some food." I'm like, "Oh, okay. I haven't eaten yet. I haven't been fed." You can't blame me for this, okay? Listen, I left you 9 perfectly fat and ripe rats. What am I to do if you won't catch them? I even left you a working stove. You know. They expired. I mean, they're still walking around, I think. No, I made sure they were quite fat before I let them in there, you know? I sort of found them, like, near a street, New Eden. They were just there. They looked fat and plump, so I threw them in. It's the right need to devour. Damn. Man's talking about Tyranids, and there you are not eating him. Damn. Poor guy. Oh. Only mild of cannibalism on stream. Excellent. Excellent. When they ask me what are my sinners known for, apparently mild cannibalism. So, you know, just like the proper escape and eating each other. I mean, yeah, that is true. Eating each other and coming up with ever more maniacal plans to take over or destroy the world. You gotta love them. Beautiful little maniacal creatures that come up with weird inventions that are concerningly effective when they don't blow up. Or just accidentally discover immortality. Basically your lore video. I mean, there's no cannibalism in my lore video. It isn't really cannibalism if the other one is a wrapped people. Well, you know. I mean, due to... Unfortunately, we've both been exposed to far too many Lappy eating someone, you know, posts, so, you know. There is a concerning amount of Lapland eats you. I've seen posted by some of our mutuals. No. Oh, have you not been exposed to this? Is it just me who's had to see this? I don't want to think of that. No, it's not my taste either, I'll be honest. There are many things I would do with our crazy wolf girl, but having her eat me is not one of them, I'll be honest. Well, not like that, anyway. Kind of eaten... There is some, well, some people who are enjoyers of the crazy Italian wolf lady are a unique sort. Yeah, that's the word. They're unique. I mean, yes, of course. Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All I'm gonna say is that fucking Arcanite expansion definitely didn't give me a unique thing for an Italian accent. All I'm saying. Especially the VA for Penance, actually. That's a nice Italian accent. Like, all I'm saying is, listen, if you have a sultry Italian accent, call me. Okay. I will arrange a meal. Alright? All I'm saying is, if you have a fine Italian accent, dinner's on me. That's all I'm gonna say on the matter. Or admittedly, a nice German accent. That is also. To be fair, there are a few accents I do really like. You know. These one. It's a funny one. Also, I think it probably doesn't help that her BA, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't actually have an Italian accent, does she? I swear it's like a Russian VA doing an Italian accent. Unlike the other people who got EN voices. I know, I still keep her on English VA myself, but I tend to keep all my characters on that so I actually understand what they're saying, because I don't understand Japanese. Try as I might. Although these days my main assistant is Nian at the moment, because I'll be honest, out of all the dragon siblings, I think Nian is my favourite. Let's turn it off for it. Oh. I see. I see. Do you want to add any voices to the head? Oh, that's fair enough. Why, hello there. It's me, Chawan. Welcome, welcome. Do make yourself comfortable. My dear sinners and I were just yapping on. Please, there are many wonderful seats for you to take. As I mentioned a few streams ago, we have nice fresh cushions for everybody now that I definitely didn't steal. So, do enjoy the fresh seats for our lovely servant of yapping, and welcome to the stream. I hope you're having a wonderful day, evening, morning, whatever time it is for you. Currently for me it is a dark, dreary evening. I'll just look out my window briefly there for a second. See if it was raining again. It's been raining all day. Then again, I live in sunny UK. It's always fucking raining here. Thank you, Rouge, for the snooze there. For snoozing the ads. Has it been pouring over yours as well? No. I suppose the clouds are big enough. Oh, do you and It's Me know each other, Judas? Have I seen that name before? I may have done. I'm trying to think now. I see many names in my feed now and then. Many a name do I see. Oh. That's, yeah, it's okay. It's fine. Well, I guess I'll turn the question around. I guess, It's Me, do you and Judas know each other then, in that case? Oh, there he is. Oh. Yes, do you remember to head pat the mod? He's a good boy. He's a very EP boy as well. What do you mean stream was ignored? What do you mean? I wasn't ignoring you. What? We just said hello. I don't think I ignored him. You guys still hear me, right? Okay, I was gonna say. I'd be worried there for a second. I was like, I don't think I was ignoring you. No, we can't. Oh, don't you start that. No. No. Don't you start saying bloody can't be heard. Oh god. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean, sir? As I cough up a lung. Something. I'll have to go and, have a new lung put in. Go back to the workshop. It's time to grow a new one. Not that I need it. Come to think about it. Shit. What's up, It's Me? You're tagging me there? Ah. Oh. Yeah, he's just bullying me, I see. No, I think he was just joining in with you. He was joining in with the joke. I think was the intent anyway. Did you see the... Ooh. Did you? When did you put that in? Oh, did I see? I've seen it now. I haven't watched it yet, but I've seen it now. I'll have a quick little... Oh, I hate how the Discord one plays ads. It's so annoying. Ready for imperfection. I mean, I guess you just like, you just refine it, don't you? Damn, it does look fucking good, though. Alright, well, they've kept it pretty faithful. They've kept it very faithful. Look, I've done a little... I'm a Vtuber artist. Ah, okay. I'll have a think on it. I'll have a think on it, buddy. But I'm sort of it's one of them. I'll have a little think, but no, I tend to, if I want something done, I'll come find you, kind of thing. It's more I prefer to go to the person if I want to work with them, rather than, at the moment I'm not really looking for anything like that now, but that doesn't mean no forever. That just means I'm not looking at the moment. Also, I think there is a no self-promotion rule as well. In fact, in my chat. I've had a lot of bad experiences with people trying to be very pushy with their promotions on me, so I have a very sour taste in my mouth from that kind of approach. There's a lot of people who try and like push it. It's fine, don't worry. Into the raw, it's fine. Just there's a lot of people who like try and be very pushy onto people. And yeah, it's happened to me a bunch, and the people I know. So I tend to be very averse to that kind of thing in my spaces. But if I do see your stuff and I think, oh, I want to work with them, then by all means I will find you. Don't you worry. Yeah, that's how I prefer to. Excuse me. To engage in wonderful artists like yourself. I'll come to you rather than the way around. I'm not much for being promoted at, especially in the very bit. My base taste for doing myself. Well, But no, the new the remake for MGS3 looks pretty fucking good though. All right. I mean, I'd like to hope it was going to look good, because I mean it's probably it's like one of the most well-known ones. Like if you had to think of like out of most Metal Gears, I feel like 3 is one of the ones people think about the most. Yeah, no worries, man. No problem at all. You take care of yourself. Best luck in your project, my friend. Best luck in your project. Hope it looks lovely. That's a fair point. MGS2 is the whole thing. Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, MGS2... I mean, I introduced Raiden, I believe? If I'm not mistaken. I believe that is... Yeah, that's the one that introduces him. And to be fair, his character's grown quite nicely, I'd say, over the years. I mean, obviously, I probably know him best myself from Metal Gear Rising. That's my... that's where I probably know him the best from. but it was pretty cool. Well, it was pretty cool in 4, actually. I just enjoyed it for the gameplay. I appreciate the story more now because I'm actually like old enough to understand it now. 13-year-old me did not understand it, like, at all. Like, it really just... Oh god, it's excuse me. It does some pretty good boss fights, you gotta admit. Like, the tutorial boss... Oh, UK the Rouge. Getting hyped. Yeah, the tutorial boss is, yeah, that was the whole thing. Check Discord. Huh? Oh, nice, nice. 69k. Fuck's sake. Well done, Rouge. You've achieved the points of 69k, the holy number. I mean, the music as well. Oh yeah, Rules of Nature's just it's good. That's up there. I'm trying to think now. Rules of Nature, Red Sun's another one that comes up to mind quite a lot. Oh, that one. What was that one called? What was that one called? The last one. That's the last boss's song. It's Armstrong's song. I forget what it was called. Has to be this way. Yeah, that's a good one. That's pretty nice. Yeah, I like that one. Mistral seems good. A lot of them are pretty good, I will say. Like, I like how themed they are. Obviously, Jetstream Sam's song. The only thing I know for real. Oh. That one does go pretty hard. Then again, his whole fight goes pretty hard. Despite the fact he's, like, got the least health of any boss. Fucker is a monster. But no, Mistral seems pretty nice. I like that one a lot. I get that. I like the DLCs in, I will say. Like, I also kind of like the ridiculousness of the fact that Raiden had to be upgraded with a very advanced cyborg body. Meanwhile, fucking Sam is in a nanosuit with a relic katana that he's had, like, upgraded so it hypersonic vibrates. He literally is just a guy. The only difference is he's got a bionic arm. Whilst we're playing... I mean, he's a hard fight. My friend, I can keep yapping for a long time if I'm given something to yap with. Or about. And especially when it comes to if I'm speaking with someone in chat, as should be very apparent, I can go for quite a while. Well, yes. It's a skill you have to learn when doing this. It's a skill you have to learn. I find it's I mean, I'll just say to stand here and look pretty after all. As much as I try. But but no, it's it's not for everyone. I definitely think I sometimes wonder if I'm any good at it. I'll be honest with you. I sometimes genuinely think, why do I do this to myself? I've been done 3 hours. It's one of them. I think there's two sides to it, right? You've got to have the vocals to keep going because, like, you've got to be able to like physically keep talking because, well, if you're doing a just chatting stream, especially, that's literally what the whole thing's about. And then figuring out what the hell to talk about. That's actually even harder in the heat of the moment. It sounds easy. Oh, just talk about a topic. Okay. Yeah, then you got to try. Like, okay, how to talk about topic, and talk about it in a way that is understandable. I know fine well I speak too quickly sometimes, so I have to physically stop myself because when I get excitable, I start talking quickly, which is a problem because the mic might not pick it up so nicely. Now, don't get me wrong, my mic's pretty good at that, but I mean, it's something I've practiced. But thank you. It is something I've practiced for a little bit now. A year of doing this has given me practice. Oh, I mentioned it earlier, but I don't think you were here, Rouge. Did I mention to you we're getting some new emotes soon? They're being worked on currently. Me when some person says something about a topic and I like. Now I know I'm a nerd because they see me talking more than actually. Yep. When your special interest has been invoked, I get that feeling. When your special interest has been invoked. Also, though, in my case, anytime someone brings up Warhammer, any version of it, pretty much, or streaming, or Halo, or just so many various topics I have interest in, or just like something like model painting or something like that. I could go on. But no, I get that feeling. But then my neurodivergent head just goes, whoop, it's time to about the special interest now. I thought the ad was still going. At least the pre-rolls are disabled now. I'm sure there is a Eternity Sakai. That would not shock me. That's probably been written. Hydrate? Well, I've got a little bit of drip left, I think. Ugh. I had to boil up some on the kettle a little bit earlier because my insides were freezing cold, so I had to go and dress that. Basically the same shit I was dealing with on Sunday, except I managed to sort it before stream rather than when the stream started. Don't worry, I'm keeping myself, generally speaking, hydrated. A bit better this time anyway. I at least had a drink for this one, as opposed to my normal, which is to forget. The lifespan of one is very short, normally. It really depends. Like, most Tyranids have a set lifespan. They're... Well, you know how like, they all got chimneys and shit? Well, that's because their metabolism burns so hot it literally starts melting them, so they have to vent the heat. Those Carnifex chimneys are there to vent heat. So they probably only live for, like, days, maybe months, before their bodies are dragged back in to be recycled to make a new one. With Vanguard creatures living a lot longer. I think Gene Stealers just keep living until they're recycled. They can just hibernate for a long time. Same with Lictors. But yeah, I don't know if I managed to say it before, but we are getting some more emotes, by the way. I've gone back to the wonderful people at Bayesian Studio, and I've commissioned some more emotes from them. some animated ones this time. So I do hope you'll enjoy those soon. We do have a new emote that's in the roster at the moment. This lovely one. This lovely one there, which is from the same people that made the alerts. A bit longer than that. I mean, if I'm in 40k, it's like, it varies. So I was getting mass DDoS because of the anti-cheating. I did not know about that. I know Final Fantasy was getting DDoSed, but I didn't know Rockstar was. Have they recently added a new one or something, then I'm guessing? Like, I know, like, Space Marine got some grief over using easy anti-cheat, but it's better than, like, Denuvo. Like, I don't understand people using Denuvo, DRM, and that kind of crap. It's just, ugh. Or are they using, like, a kernel-level anti-cheat, which I also have some issues with, because I personally don't think anything should be using. Oh, Battle Eye. I don't remember how that... I'm trying to remember if Battle Eye goes kernel level or not. If it does, I have issues. It's one of the reasons I'm not much for Valorant. I don't like the fact that I need to let it into my kernel. It's also why I probably wouldn't play Genshin. Because that also has kernel level anti-cheat. Which is a bit yikes, personally. Nothing needs to touch my kernel, thank you very much. That is an important bit of the operating system. Oh, it is kernel. Yikes. Yikes. Like, here's the thing. You have to essentially trust that this company never gets breached. Otherwise, someone is going to clap your cheeks virtually. And it will be a rough, vigorous pounding, to say the very least. So, you know, I would definitely not recommend letting anything have access to your kernel. I'm going to say it like that. Having anything access your kernel is essentially bending over and saying, come get me. That is essentially what you're saying if you have a kernel-level anti-cheat in place. That you essentially are just opening yourself up to attack at that point. That is wearing red in front of a bull. In the China shop. With C4 strapped to the bull. Like, it is just a bad idea. Okay, I put use. Yeah, I thought Siege uses it. Yeah, that's the reason you can't play it on, like, Linux through a VM or anything. I forgot Siege uses Battle Eye. Yeah, I did give Siege a go back in the day. I got kind of okay at it. They're growing a bit, man. Linux users. I use Windows myself, but they're growing. Possibly. I know they've used it for a little while now. Yeah, no, the Linux users are actually growing. I think the share of Apple has dropped a little bit, and there's more Linux users popping up all of a sudden. Like, Apple's still more than them, but I think Linux makes up 2% of the market now. And Apple's like 8. So, they're not doing bad. It'll be a long time before they ever get to the point where they even are on someone else's radar, but hey. I think I'm an Omni user at this point. I use macOS, Windows, and Kali Linux. I mean, brother, we all know I use Kali. Kali's there to give other computers a little touch. I think I'm using Linux, but I only use... Yeah, the problem with Linux is a lot of stuff doesn't support it, but a lot of stuff's starting to. Think away my secret. I mean, you forget I also I also do cybersecurity, my friend. I know what Kali Linux is for. I still can't convince them at my work to let me build a Kali Linux machine. They won't let me do it. I'm very upset. I keep jokingly saying, you know, if you let me put Kali Linux onto a virtual machine, you know, I could do some things with that. Also heard that the NVIDIA GPUs are hard to use in Linux. Yes. I hear... why did I just forget the name? AMD's better for Linux. They work a bit nicer under the hood. If you ever do want to convert to Linux, I would recommend looking up the guide made by Some Ordinary Gamers. He's a big proponent of Linux, and he's got a lot of guides on it. I'd recommend him for someone like he's got a guide if you ever want to do it. But just bear in mind, a lot of things don't work on Linux. But Steam Deck's a thing, and that's Linux. And because that exists, more games are being Linux compatible. So more games are actually available to Linux users now because the Steam Deck exists. Because if they work on Steam Deck, they'll work on Linux. Because Steam Deck is Linux. It's a Linux distro of its own, so something to think about there. But yeah. Well, Linux has no restraint. That unless what you basically you're only restrained by your lack of knowledge, and that is curable very quickly. So, but yes, it does let you access stuff like Kali, but then you only get Kali for one bloody reason. The people who made Kali know exactly what people are doing with it. They even have disclaimers saying, hey, make sure you have legal right to do this before you start. But I don't think many people will be using Kali. I'd like to hope not. It's very acquirable, though. It's very accessible. I mean, if you want to do stuff in your own system, go nuts, but just make sure it's your own. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, if you ever want to test it, if you've got a Windows device, you can enable Hyper-V, and then you can make a virtual machine and play with it there in limited capacity. Make an ARG. You know, I haven't really thought of that, I'll be honest. I'm not... Regrettably, I fear I'm not smart in the right way to do a good one, but that'd be cool. I won't lie, that would be cool. Leave secret encrypted code everywhere. If I ever go abroad, maybe, you know, just like... You know, you get a knock on your door one day, Rouge, and it's a letter, hand-delivered. How I got the information to hand-deliver it to you, I'll never tell. That's what... Tried it on a USB, kept it for dual booting only. Ah, you're dual booting. Very nice. Very nice. I've only heard of, like, a few people who dual boot. Weirdly, I had a call once, and a lawyer was telling me how they use a dual boot PC. And I was very impressed with them, because this is a lawyer, and my experience of lawyers is they're incompetent with technology. That's my experience with them. No offense to any lawyers listening to this, but my experience with them is, generally speaking, not good with tech. Especially like the old hats. But this guy was like, oh yeah, dual boot, you know, Windows and Linux. I'm like, wow, okay. Okay, that's a statement. Yeah, I mean, I suppose how I always say to anyone new, to my, you know, where I work is, it's probably the other way around if it was legal. Like, if I was trying to navigate the legal sector, I bet they'd glide through it, and I'd be the one struggling. So, they've spent their years learning the shenanigans called the legal, which, you know, is deliberately written in a way for normal people to not understand. Meanwhile, I will attest, my line of work is understandable. It's just, it takes a bit of time to learn it. The only thing that isn't understandable about my line of work is why big companies do stupid stuff like Microsoft or Cloud Strike. Seriously, fucking Cloud Strike. Jesus Christ. That's why you don't get the intern to do the bloody updates. Yeah, if you're ever in a position where you do updates, know it's an important position, and you are responsible for the mess of the system you make. The only thing not understandable about your work is your bosses. Oh, God, well, yes, there is that too. I imagine that goes for a lot of industries, though, but yes. Non-technical bosses making decisions that make no sense. God. We switched the phones over a bit ago to use Microsoft Teams, and I will attest, it was so messy. It was so messy. Like, holy shit. It was insane. And I think we were only given a month to do it. Bear in mind the person who was in charge of setting it all up was leaving. So, yes. That's the one. So, to be fair with you, unless... Well, it depends what was affected. Like, I accidentally got affected by it because I was trying to make a doctor's appointment and I couldn't because it turns out the NHS were using CloudStrike, which was really bad. Like in IT governance at school, the top leaders of the firm are responsible for security. I can't stop think about how they're completely useless. Yep. Absolutely. You're taught this, and then you experience it. That's one of the flipping their heads from that. Yep. 100%. It's very flipped. Yeah, if anything, I found myself doing security work that if anything, I have to try and explain to people that, hey, fun fact, you're the first line of defense. That's right. Your email address is publicly available. Anyone can email you at any time for any reason. I go down and get... Hey, no worries, man. Thank you for being here. Do take care of yourself, and everyone please do wish Rouge a quick recovery. I think he's managed to dodge the Rona, but my boy's feeling a bit rough. Yes, get well soon, my friend. You get yourself nice and comfy. You get nice and comfy, my friend. Get some nice warm drink down you. Not coffee, though. You need to sleep. Something other than coffee. I don't know, a hot chalky milk or something. I'm sure there's some... No coffee. You caffeine fiend. You student, you. No caffeine. Verse coffee. Yes, you need the EP stuff. Although, not my EP stuff. My EP stuff's whiskey. Don't drink whiskey. That's how I get EP. That's only a half joke. I don't have a problem, I'm fine. But, yes, no, something that does the reverse to coffee. Tea still got caffeine in it. I mean, hot chocolate does as well, obviously. I don't know, a warm Vinto in my case is my only hot drink I have that often. If I have one, I tend to be honest, I tend not to have hot drinks very often. I'm not a massive hot drink lover, but you know, sometimes I feel like I eat. Oh yes, it is, isn't it? You know, I think I realised I should have put that on my vote, shouldn't I? Because that would have been a good one as well. I was warned that apparently I wouldn't like Darkwood, according to some friends of mine. But I believe Resident Evil 2 is likely to hit the vote anyway, but Silent Hill 2 is definitely one I want to look at, the remake for that. I do find it strange they remade the second one first, but hey, you know. It is the famous one, so why not? I'd like to think they're going to do a good job of it, considering, like, we seem to be in this weird age now of, like, remakes and companies flopping because the thing they've done for 10 years stopped working. I mean, Konami is doing the same thing, just not using numbers. Oh, that's true, that's true. Yeah, they also have done a weird one. You'd have thought they'd have done one and then so on, but no, they've done 3. Unless they're gonna... I tell you what, you know what would be cool, actually? Very big brain if they're doing this. Unless I'm mistaken, isn't Metal Gear Solid 3 earliest in the timeline? Because that Snake's the OG Snake, isn't it? That's the boss. That ends up becoming like the big deal in the rest of the game series. So I guess they could be doing that one first, because technically that's first. I mean, Phantom Pain is after, I think. She on the NES would be the first one. I see. Actually, I think you are correct, to be fair. I think, anyway. The Metal Gear Solid timeline is very confusing. It is, if you ever want an exercise in insanity, try and learn the Metal Gear Solid timeline. Free is first. Oh, Free is first. I thought it was. I thought it was first. Well, at least I remembered that bit. I couldn't tell you what comes next. I feel like the NES games might be. Actually, no. Phantom Pain, I think. Then the NES games. Because Phantom Pain, I'm pretty sure the NES games is where you kill the Phantom boss. If I'm not mistaken. I could be... Pinch of salt me on these, because this is Metal Gear lore, and my smooth brain is never going to decipher it. But, you know, I try my best. Damn knows I try my best. I'm a lore connoisseur, after all. Timeline is free. PW, GZ, PP. PP. Nice. Nice, PP. MG, MG2. Fair enough. And then Rising is like way after 4. Like way after 4. If I remember correctly. Because that's one of the big things of like the start of Rising is like, oh, Metal Gear is now outdated. But then it ends on a Metal Gear. Well, it's not really a Metal Gear, but still. Yeah, if I remember correctly, Cyborg troops were like the replacement for the Metal Gears because, like Raiden demonstrated very easily, Metal Gear Ray, which is a formidable combatant in like the older Metal Gears, is just smacked around like he's nothing now. But then Excelsis, which isn't actually Metal Gear because it doesn't have nuclear weapons, that's one of the important details. It's just called that for marketing. But Excelsis is like, that's made to overwhelm a cyborg. Unless you're Raiden, of course, then you built diff, but anyone else might have been. I do like it though, the game begins a massive robot, ends with one. Whereas older Metal Gears, like the tank for Metal Gear 3, that one, it sort of walks, but like, it's quite early development. We talk about Metal Gear because I always say no, that is not Solid Snake. Yeah, no, Solid Snake. If I remember correctly, is in. If I'm not mistaken, he's the one in 1 and 2. 3's boss, and then 4's. You know, not so, as he's lovingly called sometimes, not so Solid Snake, because he's fucking old. And his snake get no soul anymore. This is, put your protagonist in the microwave snake. also known as the not-so-homoerotic end boss fight between two old men, one's shirtless. It was in a tight bodysuit. Solznik's in 41. I thought he was. Yeah. Yeah, the many snakes. One is the nakey snake. Who gets snake and does the thing with the agent. To be fair, I think most of us would with Ava, to be fair, so that's, yeah. Because he's shit. Well, yeah, he was shirtless a lot too, yeah. Oh god, the fucking Kumas are going to be all over it again. Then again, it's not a furry, at least. It's not like Zenless Zone Zero with Lincoln. The amount of VTubers who came out furry there, dear god. I feel like Zenless was just a fucking lure to discover the hidden furries among us. Whereas Naked Snake will be, in the remaster, will be, he was utterly down bad for shirtless, muscly soldier man. Oh god, do you think they're going to keep the ridiculous healing system? If you die to cougars, it is millions to one. I mean, yeah. My back. Owie. God, I do wonder if they're going to keep that healing system. I seem to remember it was really complicated in 3. Wasn't there like a whole lengthy tutorial on how to heal? I specifically remember because of the Maxor video on it. I've watched that video far too many times. Fucking. Has our boy Maxor made anything new recently? I don't know if he has. Now that I think about it. It's a tragic lack of Maxor for a while. I've had to content myself with an 8.5-hour Darkwood video. I've watched it all now. Don't get the reference from Top Up AU. He was doing a speedrun and got killed by a cougar. Oh. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, I see. Shit. The Jesus. I didn't know there are cougars in the game? Alright. I knew it was alligators and, you know, many Russian soldiers and minefields and more alligators and lots of pythons to consume. Like, a lot of random snakes to consume, actually. It's concerning how much snake eats. I guess it's called Snake Eater for a reason. You know what? That's on me. First GTA 5. Oh. Ah, okay. Okay. I was like, cougars? There are cougars in that place? Okay, then. GTA 5. Yeah, that fucking... Yes, I remember there are a few on there. I must admit, I didn't get too much into GTA 5. I was probably young when I was younger when it came out. I know. Part of me would like get into it, but then like the multiplayer is very pay to win, isn't it? You gotta like spend a lot to have like the resources to actually do anything. So I hear. Not as bad as Red Dead 2's multiplayer. It's a shame because there's not many games set in the cowboy era. Ah, okay. Like, it seemed alright sometimes in multiplayer for Red Dead. Not Red Dead, sorry, GTA. But no, I would have liked to get into the Red Dead one, but it didn't sound like it was very good. Which is a tragedy. Because the closest thing to, like, the cowboy era that I can play multiplayer is the Hunt Showdown. And I'll be honest with you, Hunt Showdown gives me a heart attack. Yeah, I saw there's a few heists on multiplayer, but yeah, there's not many. Some of them seem interesting. Like, I like that kind of thing. I guess Payday gives you that kind of vibe, but it's a shame, like, because GTA had, like, the whole package. I swear I've heard a few murmurs they're going to remaster Red Dead 1. Or the Red Dead Redemption 1, should I say specifically? I don't know if that's true, because I've heard they lost the bloody code, but I hope it's, I hope it ends up being a thing. I mean, if they want to be really nice, they could give us the Undead Nightmare expansion with it. Because that looked cool too. Let me have my more historically accurate cowboy time period, and then let me have my fantastical cowboy time period fighting hordes of zombies. It's just gonna sound interesting, honestly. I need to stop yawning. Jesus. Oh yeah, defo. Many zombies. For example, when you leave a kid on TikTok too long, it converts them into the living dead after all. Don't you know? I'd like to think that secretly the developers of TikTok are actually necromancers who are simply converting people into the living dead by consuming far too much TikTok. That's the secret. That's why the algorithm's worth like $60 billion or something like that. Or something silly like that, just for the algorithm. Not even the app, just the algorithm. Can I snooze the ad? I cannot snooze the ad. There is going to be an ad for some of you, potentially in like 10 seconds. Just forewarning. Don't forget, if you want to stop the ads, it is September if you would like, but only if you want to. But yes. As many of you are now being ravaged by advertisements. Hopefully not for very long. May your ad be quick and swift. There's just perfectly something movie about. Yeah, like Dodge asked. Well done. You've succeeded the dodge check. I mean, what's this? Vampire the Masquerade Vampires, when they talk about vampire movies being just a means to obfuscate the existence of them. A legit plot, by the way. In Vampire the Masquerade, vampires infiltrate Hollywood to make vampire movies, so people are tricked into thinking vampires are nothing but fantasy, and to distract them from the reality of them. God, the part of me would love to play that TTRPG, actually. I'd love to, but it may never happen. We'll see. Honestly, if they did Vampire the Masquerade as a movie properly, it'd be pretty good. If it was done properly, right? Like, you'd have to really do it nuanced, though. Because it's a really nuanced setting, and it would take a more subtle director. I worry there's not many of those left sometimes in like big production stuff, but if it's done properly, because the thing is with Vampire the Masquerade, it doesn't like glorify vampires. They're monsters. They might look nice, but they're fucking monsters. But they're all just addicted to drinking blood. Like, they're all addicts. They're immortal addicts who, self-aggrandize themselves and enjoy a lavish life sometimes. Unless you're a Nosferatu, then you enjoy the sewers because you look like an actual monster on the outside. But the rest of them are just, it wouldn't happen because vampires already... yes, indeed. Exactly. Like, it's an interesting little TTRPG. I wouldn't mind giving it a go at some point, honestly, but it's quite... There's a lot of bits to it. It's a very deep setting. It's also, like, not everyone's cup of tea, because combat's really lethal, depending on what you're against early on, especially. And it's very roleplay heavy, and not everyone's big on like heavy roleplay. It's definitely how can I say? It's more for people who are a bit more like they like to talk, like to get into character, as opposed to like the classic D&D party busts into a dungeon and starts, throwing hands at everybody. You could definitely do a bit of that in Vampire, but it might not go very well when, you attract the wrong eyes and the Second Inquisition comes around to stake you and drag you out into the sun. Same with like Werewolf the Apocalypse. That'd be a cool one, but again, that one's a bit more fighty because Werewolf's more fighty, but still. Some of the many TTRPGs I'd love to try. That's fair. Not everyone can. Not everyone can. Like, some people just prefer a good old sword and sorcery, Kick down the door of Vastu villain and, beat the shit out of them. It's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. That's what you enjoy. And honestly, I enjoy that sometimes. Honestly, I really do. Like, I like a balance myself. It's why speaking of 40k, it's why I gravitate to, like, Imperium Maledictum or Dark Heresy. Just get to a bit of both. All the Warhammer Fantasy tabletop RPGs, those are good. Second and fourth edition in particular. First is so ancient, it's weird. It just doesn't vibe nicely. And third is like, it uses cards, and it's like, you can't get those cards anymore. So I just, no. I'm a bit of a sucker for second edition because it has a lot more content, but also I get to have my D1000 mutation table. And as a DM, a little suffering for my players is something that is a sweet taste. And having my players panic as I make them roll a D1000 because they've picked up some shiny green rock barehanded after I warned them, are you sure? That has happened at least once. Did not go well for that player. Actually, no, he put a small rag over it, thinking that would do anything. Bearing in mind, it definitely did not. What I can do is when one of the thing that was heavy I can do is when we are playing a game like Red Dead or any online game. We don't actually. Yeah, okay. Oh, so that's fair. Nothing wrong with that. Like it's all about your taste, right? Like not everyone can really like. Some people who do what I'm doing now stay in character for a while, but I think in a live setting that's kind of hard. Like pre-recorded. Like what I do, yeah, that's doable. But like, for a long time, just doing it spontaneously, that's hard. That's really hard, and it's not everyone's cup of tea. So no, it's fair enough, man. Honestly, nothing to be ashamed of. Nothing at all. Like, it is genuinely one of those things. Like, and I just enjoy it because it's a bit of escapism for me, much like doing this. Like, I enjoy my escapisms because out there sucks sometimes, so I like to get away from it a bit. I like to disconnect myself from the worries of the real world and enjoy the worries of a fantastical one instead. And stress about something I can do. That's me. It'd be troublesome when you are the only player engaging in role-playing with the DM and the rest just murder her. Oh, God. Well, the latter half, that's half my players sometimes. Actually, no, that is half my players. Followers or murder hobos. The other half like really roleplay heavy. Yeah, no, that, again, that, hey, that's completely valid too. That's completely valid too. Like, That was always mine when I was younger. It still is to a point. I just have multiple escapisms now. But, you know. God, reading in this day and age as well. You haven't been brain rotted like half of them have now. I mean, that's a skill in of itself, unfortunately. Being able to read feels like these days that's a rarer and rarer skill. But right. Oh no, it does not help with that at all. No, I can imagine. No, I get that feeling. As someone on the spectrum myself, I get moments where I want to do something, and then it's not quite as bad as ADHD, but it's not far off where I suddenly go, actually, I want to do this instead, or I just decide no. Like I'll start painting, and then I'll just go no, and just not paint it. I kind of have to like routine myself. That's like the only way I get around stuff. I have to make it a routine. I stream on the times I stream because it's my routine. Delicious cocoa melon. No, you put that cocoa melon down. You don't need it. Leave the cocoa melon on the floor. It's bad for you. It'll give you ligma. Background noise is up. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. It's why I'm really big on audiobooks myself. Like, audiobooks like my general thing. If I can get an audiobook, it's fantastic. I can, like, paint a model or something while that's in the background. Especially if it's, like, relating to the thing I'm painting. Really works for me. So, no, I can appreciate that. I mean, in my case as well, I enjoy the wonderful power of ringing in my ears constantly. The joy of tinnitus. How's the music mix going? I admit I haven't done much more with it since we last spoke about it. I'll be completely frank with you. But I've continued using it. It's growing on me a bit. The last lore video I did Tuesday, sorry. The one I did Tuesday has it in. For those of you wondering, Rouge very kindly assisted me in creating a strange amalgamation and I dare call it music. Although it was mostly me doing things, and I think poor Rouge just looking at me going, "What are you making? What is this?" And me just go, "Yeah, it's fine." Basically backseating me, but still. Nah, I was asking, to be fair. I was specifically asking for your input because I'm not. It's weird. I know what I like, but the thing is, what I like is either some like. It varies between some like. Something calming and morbid, or solemn, to heavy rock metal, to like synth stuff, very electronic sort of stuff. So yeah, exactly. Like my tastes are funny. To be fair, if a song has got a good heavy guitar solo in it or something, or like a good guitar riff, then I won't lie, I'm interested pretty immediately. But that shit tickles me. It works. It turns on all of my neurons in a very powerful way. Ooh. That's what it's me. Yeah, exactly. It do be the real shit. It do. At some point, I'll sit down and make like a proper BGM I can play for these. I need to find something I can like have continually on for like ages, or like a couple, you know, that can play. That's definitely. It probably wouldn't hurt to have that. Or I find a BGM that I can play that won't get me like hit with, you know, copyright or anything. Like, I'd love to use the Mechanicus BGM, but I'm pretty sure Games Workshop will try and twist my nuts if I did that. Which is a shame, because I love the Mechanicus BGM. And it, might have somewhat inspired my, well, aesthetic. Like, loosely. The Mechanicus have that cyborg church kind of vibe, but in a different way. Oh yeah, it absolutely would, but also Games Workshop's like try to like monetize their music. Big Meal Time is Divorced Dad. I feel like I've heard of that one. I feel like I've heard of Divorced Dad. I feel that name sounds familiar. I may have heard them somewhere. Yeah, I think I kind of drift between stuff. I know what definitely set me down the path of really liking metal was like my early kind of appreciation for like Iron Maiden, and then I found myself listening to like Disturbed and stuff later on. Ah, right, okay. Let me just... Oh, okay, right. It's alright. My own dad's the person introduced me to rock, so he used to listen to a lot of like, especially when I was younger. We'd have to pick up my mum from work. This is many years ago now, and we'd like listen to some radio, and he'd play some like Iron Maiden or occasionally some Black Sabbath. So that's where my appreciation for it started. I never scored my school bag, but I did. I do still wear a lot of black, actually. In my defense, I used to wear a lot of black for a very particular reason. So when I was younger, I suffered horrifically with acne, like really bad. Like, my white school shirt would be red because of how much the acne would pop and shit. So I would often wear black because it didn't show as much. Because blood doesn't show up on black as easy. Yeah. My back is covered in scars to this day. Yeah. My face, thankfully, is mostly free of scars. But back is, scarred. Then again, a lot of me is scarred. Partly acne and partly, like, being a kid and slightly hurting myself over the years by accident. I'm amazed I have any skin left on my right knee, honestly. Like, I have a permanent scar to this day from where I've grazed it several times. Oof. Yeah, I guess a little bit like myself. Yeah, I don't recommend any of you slide a bare knee on a carpet, by the way. Like those like school carpets that are rough. No, that shit's a cheese grater. Don't do it. That shit hurt. That shit hurt. I remember that pain still to this day. Oh yeah, fuck. Then you know my pain. Then you know my pain. Although, ironically, a few days after, and went up like in a swimming pool, that wasn't too bad actually. I used to do a lot of swimming when I was younger, actually. I used to do a lot of swimming. Then I stopped, and then... yeah, and then I kind of stopped. I shouldn't have stopped, but I wasn't enjoying it as much, so I just didn't do it. And then... like, I probably would... I used to be a really decent swimmer, actually. But I haven't swam in so long that I probably wouldn't be that good. Although, maybe you never know. If you threw me in the water, instincts might kick in, I might swim half decent. They say you never entirely lose it, right? So... Now, thankfully, I'm still half decent at running. Floating is cool. I mean, floating. I do a bit of blubber, so I mean, floating does. It's doable. But I'm still half decent at running. The amount of times I have to run for a bus at the minute, so you know, just don't really. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Running in the 90s, I ain't that old. The 90s was over by the time I came into the world. It's okay. I always have to curb. I always have to, like, jump in before the. I know it's a song. I know it's a song. I know. Oh. I always have to make the joke about my my birth being on April 1st. My life does indeed be a comedy. For those of you who pay attention to the events on Discord, that's why April 1st set my birthday, because that is my birthday. I know, I am a young man after all, unlike you old-timers. As much as I might sound like a 35-year-old, apparently. Honestly, I probably look it as well. Don't even know what that boy. I know that boy. Here Come That Boy. I remember that one. I remember Here Come That Boy. That's an old one. That's a classic. That is. I used to watch some meme compilations back in. Listen, I used to watch Anime Brain back in the day. All right. I know. He's pulling out the ancient memes here. He's gone into the archives and dragged that fucker out. I wasn't aware we were going down history here. I guess we were down memory lane, I suppose, so we're pulling out the hieroglyphics. You know, some poor fucker's going to end up having to study all of us when we're long gone. And they're going to be so confused. They're going to be so confused. I feel like some people are just going to leave misinformation behind as well. Just so, you know, they're just extra confused. There we go. Put the music back on there. I think this bloody synth track's not nearly as long as the other track I used to use for watching the game class of. Oh god. Yep. I remember one of my friends played a bit of Class of 09. God, yeah, that. You know, one thing I don't miss. Fucking high school. I do not miss it in the slightest. Like, some people peaked at high school. Nah, no. I just gave up in high school. I could have done better. But the power of depression is a mighty force that beats you down and... Oh yeah, it was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Like, apparently a lot of the people I used to know back then have changed a lot, but I'll be honest. I've only spoke to a few of them. And they have changed for the better. But I must admit, I definitely haven't spoken to a lot of them out of just, you know... excuse me. Just out of, like, not... Like... I try to hold grudges because it's a bad habit that I inherited. I'm a very grudge-fueled being. But I've always had a very hard time forgiving, if that makes sense. Myself or others. Like, I always had a hard time doing that. Honestly, I relate to the dwarves' grudges. It's bad. I relate to that shit. Like, through the power of therapy, I've managed to let go of a lot, but if I see someone and I recognise them, I remember shit they've said to me, which... This is why you don't want a memory like mine. If someone said something to me a long time ago, I'd remember it. I would remember it vividly if it upset me. It could be 10 years ago, and I promise you, I will remember the scene, someone saying it to me, and probably what time it was, if I remember it that well. Like, it's annoying. I couldn't pick some out of my head right now, because thankfully I'm less prone to do that, but yeah, that's the thing, that's my memory. I'll just go, hey, remember this thing? Like, oh, wow, thank you. Yeah, long-term memory. My short-term, it varies. Long-term, oh god, torture. Thankfully, I remember everything of that recollection, but yeah, the old wounds that they've healed mostly. Just faint scars now, I think. I'm happy to say that they hold no weight over me anymore. Exactly. Like, college was good. The 1 year higher education, not so good. And then, work, yeah, it's work. Been some rough times recently, but last year, not been too bad, honestly. Like, I feel like after the last bit of therapy I did, which was over a year ago now, I felt in a good place, which is why I started doing this. Because I finally felt in a good spot. So, it made it a lot easier to just go, you know what, it's time to make stuff. Try videos, streaming, yeah. And some days I beat myself all over it, but I'd say this has been like you say, new memories, good memories, and I'd say 90% of my streaming memories have been good so far. It's definitely made this last year more bearable, that's for sure. It's going to be something to look forward to. You always need something to look forward to, right? And this is something I can go, oh, it's Thursday, I can do this. And then it's Friday, or the weekend. So, I just need to, pace myself better. Oh. Speaking of pacing myself, ow. I think I may wrap her up here. I normally stop about 2 hours, but I thought I'd go a little longer. Because I'm not having to, get up and go straight away in the morning. Yeah, no worries, man. Thank you for being here. Seriously, thank you very much for being here. Yeah, I'll probably be wrapping up now anyway, so you've chosen a very good time, but no. See you around, Judas. Have a good time, my friend. Yeah, you call it the right time, because, yeah. So yeah, don't worry. Right. Before I end stream then, let's see who looks cute and raidable. But yeah, see you next time, my friend. It's good to have you, as always. Pleasure, as always, sir. Right, who's looking cute and raidable before I do anything further? Who's looking cute and raidable and ready to be raided? They're looking cute and raidable. We'll raid them. Yeah, exactly. I told you I can keep it up. Right. I will set up the raid. I will see you all in a bit, my dear sinners. Till tomorrow. Ta-ta for now.